why don't we do it this way? This just makes sense. We're all on board. But yeah, this was really good. The end of the governance year.
How many people do they usually have attend? And there's a lot of seats there.
Way more than we need.
Okay.
Hey, man.
Okay.
I'm Jason.
But
I'm not going to complain. After they do that work.
Yeah, no. It's good to have the engagement.
Yeah.
You want people to care and be a part of it.
Bam, there we go.
We've
Just need to get
outgoing,
with that little block up there.
board members. Oh. Yeah, I'll
You'll
take
take
care
care
of
of
that.
that.
I
All right, cool.
here, Ralph is sitting here. We got staff over there on top of it. What David's going to give you a quick introduction. I don't have any questions.
Okay. All right. On that.
There you go. Hi, Jody. How are you? Good.
I see an Iowa Hawkeyes cup.
There we go.
Yes, Iowa.
Iowa?
Davenport.
Davenport. I'm from Sioux City.
Oh, okay.
So,
Sure, absolutely.
yeah, my mom, one of my mom's best friends.
Cool.
lives
But yeah, because we don't want anything circling
okay.
through somebody going into that microphone.
Yep, we go back tomorrow, so,
in- Oh, wow.
yeah, we're just snowbirds. so.
Well, it's been, I was back there last week.
Oh, yeah. It's been nice. Now they're like 70s, 50s, maybe dip into the 30s, which is fine.
Yeah,
After
you know, it's.
2 weeks from Friday, I go to Poland for 12 days, so I'm not gonna be there long. Yeah, so, but yeah, I've got too much going on back home with my city government and everything. It's like, after this meeting, I gotta get back there and just spread out all over, so.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Didn't the men's basketball team that upset Florida?
Oh, yes, they did.
That was pretty
Yes,
good.
they did.
And then the
Now,
women
yeah,
kind of tripped up,
yep.
but
So I
that's
think
all
we
right.
play, is it Thursday? We play tomorrow?
yeah, I think so.
I think we play tomorrow, so, but it's like, oh, it would be great to see them
Yeah,
go a little further.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think if everybody would like to have their seat, we'll get the meeting started. Okay, I think everybody's here. So we'll call the meeting to order. Would like to thank everybody in the audience for taking the time to come to our annual meeting and listen to all of us pontificate at the end of the year. We've had a really good year, and I think everybody is happy with everything that has been done. And so with that, we're going to go, and I'm going to ask Beth Dingman to come up with the election results.
Thank you, Kathy, and I want to thank Kathy for being president of the board this past year. She's done an excellent job. So the election results for 2026, there were 12,783 eligible properties. Of those, only 2,644 voted for 20.7%. Candidate results: Christy McHugh, 1,850 votes. That was 25%. Chris McCrummen, 1,622 votes, equaling 21.9%. Barry Stock, 1,361 votes, equaling 18.4%. Dale Howard, 1,359 votes, equaling 18.3%. Marge Garneau, 1,215 votes, equaling 16.4%. Total votes cast, 7,407. Approving the annual minutes, meeting minutes, 2,301 yes, 179 no. The bylaw questions that were put before the membership, all of which passed. Question 1, 2,290 votes yes, 2,019 no. 2, 2,325 yes, 177 no. 3, 1,956 yes, 573 no. Question 4, 224 yes, 284 no. Question 5, 2,277 yes, 224 no. Question 6, 2,311 yes, 188 no. Question 7, 2,397 yes, 120 no, which tells me that the people actually read the amendments and thought about them a little bit, since the numbers are not the same for each one. So that's good. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. At this time, I just would like to make a few comments. First, I would like to congratulate Christy McHugh, Chris McCrummen, and Barry Stock in their election of being on the board of directors this year. I think you are all going to do an absolutely wonderful job for the 23,000 plus members that we have, and we're looking forward to the new year. It has been my pleasure to be the board president this last year. I believe we have worked well. I believe this board has worked well together overall. And I think in the coming years, you're going to find that to be even better. in addition to working with our CEO, Scott Summers, with his leadership and the leadership of his exceptional management team, all of the staff members, we just have been led exceptionally. I'm having a hard time reading my notes, but I'm going blind, I think. I'm not sure. But anyway, I just wanted to be sure that this staff was congratulated for everything that they have been doing over the years. I am so very pleased to have been able to work with them. The one thing that I'm really sorry to see is David retiring. And David, I know that you want to retire, and I know you're looking forward to your music endeavors. And what are you doing over there? Oh, well, I'm not recognized you out of your chair. So sorry, David. But anyway, I hope you really enjoy your retirement and your music. And I just want you to know how much you're going to be missed by everybody, both personally and professionally. Thank you so much for the job you've been doing. Okay. Let's see. Okay, with that, I'm going to start the recognition of the outgoing board members. Scott, did you want to come up and help?
Absolutely.
So first,
You got Marge.
okay. Marge, would you like to come up? Marge Garneau? Would she like? Oh, apparently Marge hasn't been able to make it today.
Promise.
Bev Lawless, would you like to come up?
You can hand it to her.
Thank you. Come on over here. Come on over here. Bev has been on the board for 6 straight years, and it's been quite the job, and you were even involved way before you even got on the board. So with this, we want to thank you for all of the time and all of your chairing of the investment committee and the audit committee. You have been so involved and such a great board member. Thank you so much for being with us. Okay, Beth Dingman. Okay, thank you. Oh, what about her name? There it is, name tag. You can
Keep the name tag.
I'll give.
That's hers.
Okay, you can. We're going to give Beth her name tag. Bev, I've got your name tag too for you. Beth has been on the board for 4 years. She's been an excellent board member. We just so appreciate you running in the first place because I didn't even know you before that point, so it was really wonderful. She has been very active. She's been the chair of the N&E committee for at least 3 years, and she's attended and been on the, the N&E committee chair, and she's been on the Board Affairs and the P&E committee and attends those committees that she's not even on the committee for. So Beth, thank you so much for all of your
Thank you.
efforts.
Thanks. It's been fun.
Yeah. You want to do that now?
And I have the honor of thanking outgoing President Kathy Batchelor, who is also going off of the board. Here's a little token of our appreciation, along with your name tag. You can put it on your front door at home or your refrigerator. I want to say that I've really enjoyed working with you, Kathy. This is the second term as president that I've had the honor and the privilege of working with you. It's really been enjoyable. And I look over the last few years, many years, probably 5 to 6 years that you've been on the board, and the accomplishments that we have actually achieved as an organization and under your leadership as the president and a member of the board. And honestly, you've been members of the committees as well, so you've been a very active member, and we're going to miss you a lot. I'm going to personally miss working with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just so you understand, being the president doesn't make anything get done. It is Scott and his staff to make sure everything gets done and it gets done right. So thank you to all of you. I've so enjoyed being on this board. So with that, David, would you like to come up and start the presentation on the audit?
Thank you, Kathy. I am David Webster. I guess currently the CFO, but my life expectancy here is pretty short, as a matter of a few minutes. And I agree with you, Kathy. We're in a good place. We're in a good place, and I agree with you. And I want to recognize a couple people there, because there's in my accounting staff that really do the hard, heavy lifting. And I'd like to recognize Maura Butler. I'm losing my voice. Maura has been with us 18 plus years, so she knows where all the secrets are. Okay, just kidding. Howie Murray, our controller. Thank you, Howie. You've really you've helped us really improve our performance, I think, in the finance department. And I'm just going to take advantage of this moment and introduce you to the new CFO. His name is Dave Dixon. So Dave, would you stand? Okay. So another couple of people that are real important with our financial reporting and making sure we have everything buttoned up and tied down is our CPA firm, R&A CPAs. And we have Melissa Fasulo. She does all the heavy lifting as well. And then Ralph gets all the credit. This is Ralph Gigliotti. And Ralph, I'm going to turn the podium over to you. Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you, David, for those kind words. Looking forward to a great annual meeting today. And we've got some nice information to share here. And that's the operative word. So let's get back to sharing so we can keep everybody on Zoom informed. Okay. Thanks, Scott. Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to lose that. And I know that's not me up there. Okay, there we go. Okay, so again.
A little closer. Sorry.
We not getting me? There we go. Okay, perfect. Now I can hear myself. So again, thank you all for attending. So we're going to go through the financial results for our audit for calendar year 2025. And our partner respectfully sends her regrets that there was an unexpected crisis that came up and prevented her from being here. But nonetheless, we're going to take the presentation from start. So first thing we want to do is go through our list of what we're going to talk about here. So these are the communications that, or I would say the topics for discussion that we're going to go through. First are the required communications that the auditor has to relay to the board and other members of management. I'll go through our audit report on the financial statements. We'll just touch on the key audit areas that we focused on this year to cover. We'll talk about some of the financial statement highlights when we look at trends in the organization year over year. Then we'll talk about, is a line there for management letter comments? We'll get to that later. Upcoming accounting standards affecting GVR, anything that might be noteworthy that the board and or management, CFO needs to keep in mind. Also, we'll talk about some industry updates, what's going on in housing and the like. And then some concluding remarks. So let's get right into it. So required communications. These are communications that the auditor has to make sure that are communicated to make sure that the board and also management are aware, because if any of these types of issues happen, it's important to be aware that there were problems during the audit. So let's talk about qualitative aspects. There were no new accounting standards adopted for calendar year 25. All accounting standards and reporting remains consistent and intact. The application of existing accounting policies did not change. There were no transactions that GVR entered into during the year that were unusual, vague. There's a lack of authoritative guidance as to how to treat them. So there's no difficulties there. We encountered no difficulties during the audit, either with lack of records or lack of cooperation from management or personnel. Misstatements or corrections to the financial statements. We posted several adjustments. Now, we identified 8 audit adjustments and 5 reclassifications. So 5 reclassifications were reclassifications that were not errors. They're just simply things that we need to reclassify and present differently in the financial statements under GAAP, but they do not constitute errors in the financial results. The 8 audit adjustments, we're happy to say that none of them were material to the financial statements or significant. They were simply minor errors or things that were adjustments that could have been what we call passed on and disregarded, but management, being as diligent as they are, wanted to go ahead and post them and keep the books as clean as they are for reporting purposes for the board and others. And so, as mentioned, a past adjustment is something that we might identify, but it's so trivial and insignificant that we can ignore. So there were no past adjustments during the current year audit. We're happy to say that there were no disagreements with management or the board on issues. Sometimes when there's a disagreement, outside consultation with other auditors can take place. So as a result of not having any disagreements, there were no outside consultations and no other matters, such as any identified fraud or other issues that we could typically come across in an organization, but we did not hear. So there's no other matters to communicate in that regard. We issued what's called a clean opinion. Oftentimes people hear it called that, or an unmodified opinion in the technical terms, which basically means that there were no material errors in the financial statements in order for them to be accurate and in conformity with generally accepted accounting principles. So the key audit areas that we focused on, similar to last year, program revenue and receivables, that's a big area. Investments, there's significant money held in investments. Property and equipment, another significant area on the financial statements and GVR's assets. Program expenses, accounts payable and other liabilities, we test those extensively. Payroll and related liabilities, such as accrued payroll, salaries, payroll taxes, pension contributions, etc. Deferred revenue, net assets, and cash amounts for the significant cash. Now, going through the audit process, this is just a trend on the financial statements. So if we notice graphically, assets increased in 2025. Liabilities, there was a slight increase, but generally comparable to the prior year. Overall revenue increased for the period, and expenses were modestly higher, but not significantly higher. So overall financial results compared to 2024 were markedly improved. Some of the areas that you'll notice when you look at the financial statements and you compare last year to this year and you notice trends. So you'll notice there was a decrease in cash of 1.4 million, and that was simply an investment of cash because the organization identified excess cash that was idle and decided to invest it and make better use of it by sticking it into the investment accounts and investing it. So that was more of a movement in cash. As a result of that movement, as well as another $1.2 million of investment income, including unrealized and realized gains and gains, we had a $3.2 million increase in investments for the calendar year. So obviously 2025 was a good market year, and so it showed in GVR's financial position. Small increase in accounts receivable, and that was expected because program revenues were up, dues were up, and so as a result of higher revenues, receivables relationship-wise increase as well. So there's no concern of bad debts or any other type of issues there. Increase in property and equipment. GVR is always making significant investments in equipment, buildings, infrastructure for the benefit of members. So property and equipment increased $864,000, and that was due to just that, as well as a number of other what's noted there is CIP, or what we call in the lingo, construction in process, or projects in process, so that are yet to be placed in service. Liabilities increased by about $790,000, but mostly due to the fact that most of the liabilities actually decreased during the period, but there was a $1.1 million increase in deferred membership dues at the end of the year. And you might think, well, a liability increased 1.1 million. How's that a good thing? Well, really, deferred membership dues is really an accounting thing. It's a timing. So when the invoices get sent out for member dues, a lot of individuals will pay in December as opposed to January, and that's what happened. All the cash collections came in early in December, and as a result, deferred member dues increased significantly by the end of the year. Overall, for the year, over 2024, net assets increased by $1.9 million, improving the organization's financial position. Revenues increased from $11.2 million to $12 million from a member dues increase and more capital fees as more properties changed hands in calendar year 2025, as expected by most economists and developers down in these areas. And there was a modest increase in expenses of about $152,000. And overall, $152,000 on the dollar value of expenses is really quite small on a percentage basis. It's not even inflation. So overall, the results were very good for 2025. Let's break it down and get into some of the components like we do. Membership dues, capital and initial fees, investment income, member and tenant and guest fees, as well as program revenue. These are kind of the big revenue categories on the financial statements. So membership dues increased $232,000. There were 30 new members in 2025, and annual dues increased to $530, up from $515, giving rise to more revenue. There was an increase in new member and capital and initial fees of $476,000. There were about 918 homes that transferred and changed hands in 2025 versus 833 in 24, and a slight $100 increase in the actual capital transfer fee, which gave rise to that figure. Again, it was a great year in the market, so overall, in the end, it finished well, so $131,000 more in investment income for the year. Increase in member and tenant and guest fees of $5,000, which overall was comparable to year over year. And an increase in program income of about $94,000, with program fees and higher attendance mostly in 2025. Again, coming back out of the 2020, 2021 years, more people are getting a chance to get out and enjoy some of the programs that GVR offers. Now, if we look at expenses and shift from revenue to expenses, usually one of the questions that people have is, how's the organization doing with investing resources into program and its mission, basically, as an organization? So overall, for the last 3 years, you'll see the trends here between 2023 and 2025. The split between program expenditures and general and administrative expenditures are pretty consistent, from 22% down to 21% in 2024, and then at 22% in 2025. So overall, GVR is very consistent in maintaining and controlling its G&A expenditures within a range. And for most organizations, that range can be anywhere from 15 to 30% of G&A costs. So GVR being down towards the 20 mark is actually, compared to a lot of the nonprofits we see in other organizations, a very good number. And obviously, they're very consistent in controlling costs. Next. Let's look at the segmentation of expenses. These are the major expense areas: salaries and related expenses, facility maintenance, insurance, repairs and maintenance, supplies, utilities, and recreational contracts. So salaries and wages increased $29,000. It's comparable to the prior year, and frankly, $29,000 increase on the number, dollar value-wise, again, that's not even inflation. And I think there were some full-time equivalents that were removed, so it absorbed some of the adjustments there. So salaries were consistent year to year. Increase in employee and related expenses, mostly related to increased medical and life insurance costs, resulting from more participants and obviously higher premiums. If anybody finds an insurance company that lowers premiums consistently, please let me know. Also, increase in facility maintenance, $92,000, primarily related to facility repairs relating to maintenance contracts. Increase in insurance, $51,000. rate increase year over year, and that's the property and liability insurance we're referring to there. Decrease in repairs and maintenance of $175,000. In the past, I think in the last audit, you might have heard me comment about, or may remember me commenting about, shifting between custodial, in-house, and out-of-house maintenance on the pools and so forth. So this is really just a matter of where the costs are, and so it was reduced outsourcing for custodial in favor of using employees to maintain facilities and pools to keep things at the clean standards that GVR likes to keep them at. And as a result, just a shifting of costs from one category to another here, up to salaries. Supplies was comparable prior year over year. Utilities were down about $125,000 for the year, resulted from less consumption of gas for some of the pool closures and warmer weather during the year. Also, an increase in recreational contracts of $111,000. Again, with more shows, more entertainers, more people coming out to enjoy the events, obviously, then the organization's making sure that there's something to come to and enjoy. Statement of cash flows. So if we look at the statement of cash flows on the financial statement, cash provided by operating activities increased $2.9 million. It was a great year. Cash flow was very, very good in 2025, and predominantly from operations and improvements in operations. The shifting of member receipts also affected that significantly, but even if you cull out the shift of that $1 million timing difference, still a $1.9 million operating cash flow for the year was very, very good. Cash used by investing activities was increased $4.7 million, and that is nothing to be alarmed about. It's just simply the way the statement of cash flows works under generally accepted accounting principles. That is where the investments in marketable securities are. So those are basically the investments in marketable securities was a big part of that number, as well as property and equipment acquisitions for the year. And of course, cash by financing activities was comparable year over year. Notes to the financial statements. These are simply the notes that, in fact, hold on one second. In the notes, these are just a few notes that as you look through the financial statements, you'll want to pay particular attention to. We just note them as nothing alarming, but just simply they're the significant notes in the financial statements. One about marketable securities in Note C. The marketable securities, it breaks down the investments as to corporate bonds, mutual funds, and stocks, and helps the financial statement reader understand the nature of investments. And again, you'll find Note C useful in reading the financial statements. Note E, operating and finance leases, will help you to determine and understand the significant leases in the organization and how they're classified on the balance sheet. And most of those have been have gone down in recent years. Note G, refundable membership change fee liability, is also another one with regard to estimates on the property changes. When properties change hands, sometimes a person is buying a house in Green Valley, but they also sold a house in Green Valley, and they may qualify for one of the GVR's exemptions. So that change fee liability relates to the management's estimates on the allowances in that regard. And lastly, Note L, future major repairs and replacements. And so the only thing I'll mention orally on Note L, which was very good, was that when I get there, was in regards to Note L, when the study was done on the repairs and replacements and the projections and future repairs and replacements, the percentage funded year over year had gone up. So GVR's ensuring that the funding for repairs and replacements actuarially are getting funded. So the study and the details about the study are in Note L in the financial statements. Management letter comments. We are pleased to report that there were no management letter comments. So typically a management letter, for those of you who may not know, is when the audit firm decides that there's an issue that came up in the audit that requires management or the board's attention to rectify because it's something that poses a problem functionally or in some risk some way in terms of the risk of the organization, we'll put it that way. But we did not identify any issues this year. We're pleased to report, and ultimately, very few, and Melissa will tell you, very few clients often wind up in this category. So it's just a testament to how hard David and his team have worked, and Scott, to make sure that past recommendations that we made in the opening years when we first started working with GVR were implemented. And as was already mentioned by Kathy, and I won't repeat her, it's actually a pleasure to serve GVR for us. Industry updates. So just a few comments in regards to what's going on in the market that may be useful. Of course, economics is the dismal science, so maybe it'll put some people to sleep. But homeowners associations. Now, GVR is not a homeowner association, but you've heard me say this in the past, that sometimes there are parallels here. And they've experienced annual industry revenue growth over the last 5 years, very dismal, about 0.5%. But 1.1% of the growth was in 2025. So again, the last 5 years factors in some of that coming out of COVID timeframe. And they're projected as 1.6% growth in Arizona. And I want to qualify this. When I say these, to show you these growth numbers, these growth numbers are excluding inflation. So if you tack in inflation, we're really talking like 4 or 5% growth. So the most recent year has had a much larger growth rate, and Arizona is higher than the national average. So Arizona is a little ahead of the curve in terms of development in this area than the U.S. is nationally. Over the next 5 years, the industry revenue for homeowners association will rise at 1.4% and 1.3% in Arizona. And despite some of the demographic shifts over the years with some of the younger population and the decline in homeownership rate, the industry is still going to experience expanding membership from rising disposable incomes. Investors in Arizona properties for renting prefer housing structured as an association. There's a lot of industry dynamics that are taking place and have been taking place for a while that lend themselves to development of properties in association formats, and Green Valley is one of the areas. One of the drivers for these communities is the market evidence for rising demand for offerings such as social clubs, holiday celebrations, and recreational activities. Just the type of thing that GVR offers. Counties and municipalities are mandating more responsibility to residential developers like Horton, like KB Homes and the rest of them, because they want them to establish homeowners associations for infrastructure and community service tasks because, and this is just stating facts here, I believe that they prefer to shift that responsibility to the community association and take some of the load off the municipalities in that regard where they can. Senior living communities will continue to be a key element for industry revenue for at least the next 10 years. Housing starts. Housing starts for the Tucson metro area, and the next point, stood at 691 and were only 317 last year in December. And most of that spike was in December of last year, a few months ago. So people are ramping up because the Tucson metro area includes Green Valley for more development in 2026 and 2027. Housing developers. These are the guys who basically go out there and do the work. Housing developers experienced growth of 2.6% over the last 5 years, and it will experience 3.5% growth in Arizona over the last 5 years. Over the next 5 years, the national rate will be 1.5 and 1.9 in Arizona. So you tack in inflation, you're looking at about 4 and change percent growth-wise in Arizona. So the CPI ended 2025, or the Consumer Price Index, with a 2.4% increase, much closer to the Federal Reserve's target of 2%. They're obviously much more comfortable with inflation being under control. So they've already had 3 rate cuts between September and December of 2025. So they're clearly looking to ease monetary policy and take pressure off mortgage rates and the like and make funds more available. So median home price has gone up from February 2026 compared to last year in Green Valley. Arizona Association of Realtors says housing inventories improved, leading to a balanced market because more listings are coming up now on the market over the last several months. Days on the market decreased to 59 days versus what it was in 25. So people are buying homes faster and it's starting to pick up. So they're anticipating a gradual, as rates continue to soften and the rate decreases actually start to affect mortgage rates and the like, more activity at a slow but accelerated pace later in the year in 2026. Just some things to keep in mind and perhaps might be useful to management in terms of budgeting for 2026. There are no new significant standards for 2026 that will affect GVR. Any of the accounting standards updates for nonprofits relate to things that do not affect GVR. And lastly, we want to thank the staff, the Chief Financial Officer, management, the CEO, and his whole team for another year of being able to do the audit at Green Valley. It was great. The staff cooperated. They were very helpful. They put up with us for a few weeks. And through the audit, all of our inquiries and testing and me making David drive me around Green Valley so I could personally inspect and see all of the improvements myself and touch them and make sure they were real. And also thank the Board of Directors for the opportunity to be able to serve Green Valley. We appreciate the relationship. So with that, I am done, and we'll turn it back over to either Kathy or Scott.
All right. Well, thank you, Ralph. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, our finance department, for pulling together another successful audit. Thank you. All right. Let's see where we're at with sharing screens. Why do I hear thunder? Something's wrong. Testing. I think we're kind of okay. So again, I want to thank our auditors. Thank you all for being here. I want to introduce our staff leadership team, if I could. I've asked them all to be here today to represent each of our departments, since it is these departments that really provide the operations, the services, the programming, et cetera, the behind-the-scenes service like finance and HR, IT, that really move the organization forward, at least on an operational level. So first, I'd like to introduce Nancy Moyo, Administrative Supervisor. Hi, Nancy. Chris Zubicki, Membership Services Department. Hi, Chris. Antoinette Snow, Field Services. Chris McNeely, Human Resources Department. Dave Dixon, incoming CFO. Welcome. Steve Kindred, Recreation Department. You know Dave Webster there, the old guy. And then Natalie Whitman is our COO, Chief Operating Officer. She's not able to be here today, but we want to thank her as well. I want to thank the outgoing board. It's been a real pleasure working with all of you. Some of you I've worked with since I actually got to GVR. I'm in my 6th year. Bev Lawless, for example, was on my interview committee when I was interviewing, and she's the only one left. So, and out of this tenure of board members, I think I'm close to about 50 board members at this time in just over a 5-year period. So that's pretty astounding. I want to thank the incoming board. Thank you so much for offering to participate and volunteer, and we're really looking forward to your leadership. Okay, so this is hopefully going to be a fairly quick but informative year in review for 2025. It's not just 2025, it's 25 and 26, so it's really the governance year of 25-26. I always like to start off by talking about our mission statement. It's our North Star, our guiding light. It answers the question why we exist as an organization. So GVR's mission is to provide excellent facilities and services that create opportunities for recreation, social activities, and leisure education to enhance the quality of our members' lives. That's why we exist as an organization. This is an overview of what I'm going to talk about today. We're going to start off with the snapshot of GVR in 2025. This is really a GVR by the numbers, and it really illustrates the size and scope of the organization. So many of us really focus on our own neighborhood center. We'll go to one center to work out or swim, or we might go to a court, but we rarely see the entire size and scope of the organization. And every time I see these numbers, I'm a little astounded. In 2025, we had over 13,900 households. This was an increase of 30 over 2024. Individual members, we had just over 22,000 individual members. This is a small city. Our most popular decades based on birth year, 1940s is the number one, followed by the 50s and followed by the 60s. Our most popular birth year of our members, 1947. That's getting closer to mine, by the way. A little scary. In 2025, GVR issued over 1,500 guest passes, over 1,200 tenant passes, and but 52 life care passes to participate in GVR. As many of you know, we have 7 major centers and 8 satellite centers. This is where the numbers start to astound me a little bit, but of those centers in our facilities, GVR maintains 176,000 square feet of facilities and 57 acres of property. We have 24 pools and spas, which contain over 1.1 million gallons of water. That is a lot of water. In 25, we had 13 board members serve on the board, and we had 37 members serve on our advisory committees. Thank you, board and advisory committees. Hours served in board meetings, 64. Hours served in board committee meetings this year, 85.5. This is really where all the work happens, at least at a policy level. Thank you again. Staff, 79.5 full-time staff, 11.4 part-time staff, for a total of 90.9 FTEs in 25. Wanted to talk about our staff program a little bit here. In 25, GVR launched an employee recognition campaign called Celebrate Your GVR Staff. These are boards that are put in all of our centers with pictures of the staff that actually work generally in those centers. The idea behind this was to catch an employee doing something right or that we appreciate. And we're able to take those comments, which we receive about 12 a week, and share those with our employees. So it's a really nice morale booster. We share it with all of our employees, actually, in our staff newsletter, which goes out on Friday. So it's a nice incentive, makes people feel good about, hey, I'm participating and showing that I'm here to help the members. Arts and entertainment, again, numbers kind of blow me away. Audience members in 2025, over 11,000 audience members, which is an increase of 63% over 24. Total events for 25, 121, which was an increase of 86% over 24. Our arts and entertainment department are just hitting it out of the park. Sold out events. We don't like to sell them out on one hand, but we kind of do because it shows that they're popular. We had 9 events sell out, and we had 14 day trips sell out. We had 141 volunteers in 25 for arts and entertainment. I'm sorry, events and entertainment. I'm still not used to the new name, which was an increase of 22%. Some of the new offerings that we offered in 25, trips to NASCAR up in Phoenix, going to the NFL, the Mesa Marketplace day trip, Nogales taco tours. I still want to do that. Lunch and a movie. Our events in this center, at least, now have most of the time food and beverage services, and we're now offering free karaoke and game nights to our members. Yay. Facilities maintenance. This is the amount of work orders that were completed in 25, over 5,000. This should just illustrate that we are maintaining our facilities. As most of you know, our facilities are aging, but we're keeping up with them. We really are. We're doing a fantastic job, and you can see that we're certainly out there very, very busy. This first picture on the lower left is some of our landscapers doing the new rock work around West Center. You'll have observed that we have new landscaping and decorative rock around West Center. You can see in the middle picture, the saguaros are being transplanted from the Abrego South Pool facility into create a nice entrance to West Center. And then the picture in the lower right is actually our maintenance staff in the pool scrubbing and trying to scrape off mineral deposits, calcium and lime primarily. So they work really hard trying to keep our facilities up to speed. GVR wouldn't be anywhere without our clubs. We really rely on our clubs to provide a lot of that social, recreational, and leisure activities that are part of our mission. In 25, we had 55 clubs, which included over 10,500 members. Very active population. Our 10 most popular clubs, not surprising, pickleball on top with over 1,200 members. Pickleball. Computer Club, over 880 members. The Amigas, just over 700 members. Photography Club, just under 600. Woodworkers, over 500 members. Followed by Clay Studio, tennis, hiking, meditation, and lapidary. Is anyone surprised to see meditation up there? I am too. I think it's a sign. We should all be checking it out. In terms of the clubs, we have 15 sports clubs, we have 11 arts and crafts clubs, and we have 5 special interest clubs. We have 9 social clubs, 12 card and game clubs, and 3 dance clubs. Leisure education. We really function like a small community college here at GVR. In 2025, we offered 1,060 classes. That's 239 more than in 2024. We had 9,311 enrollees in those classes, and of the classes, 191 of those were full. Fitness centers, as those of you that are out in the fitness centers, hopefully you've had a chance to try them all out. We have 6 fitness centers, which doesn't sound big, but when you look at the number of equipment that we have to maintain, that's 230 pieces of equipment that GVR maintains or contracts out to have maintained. We had 14 personnel trainers, which was an increase of 4 more. Our fitness programs are really moving forward, very active. Our response time on maintaining our equipment, when equipment goes down, we've decreased our response time to 3 to 4 days, which is fantastic. And we offered a total of 15 fitness classes in 25, or fitness offerings, I should say, which is 4 more than in 24. In 25, we added a new amenity for our members, massage therapy. A lot of other organizations similar to GVR offer this, and we thought, why not? We have the capability. Let's look into this. So we contract with 2 massage therapists, and so far in 25, we had 35 members sign up for this, which is exciting. Fun new thing. All right, 25 accomplishments. What did we actually do? This is, of course, not an exhaustive list because we do a lot, but this is just a highlight. Let's start with the Santa Brita Springs Center. The pool received new plaster and a new deck. A really great example, again, of how we're maintaining our facilities. The center also received a new garden. West Center, the pool received new heating and filtration equipment. The artisan shop right across the courtyard here was expanded. We did a ribbon cutting not that long ago. And the Metal Arts Club finally received a permanent home. Instead of being in those containers out in the back lot, they're now in a building with air conditioning and heat when they need it. It's remarkable. We completed a campus-wide energy audit. We completed a campus-wide accessibility assessment. The Desert Hills locker room was renovated. We've already talked a little bit about the new landscaping at West Center. I will say we've started on West Center with updating the landscaping because some of you may recall in our capital budget this year, we anticipate doing a renovation of our membership services department, which will renovate our box office and a part of our lobby out here. And our customer service and our member services department will be housed in this area. So this West Center area, the courtyard, the auditorium space, the lobby, will become really the new gateway, the introduction to GVR for new members. We felt like this was a one-stop shopping opportunity, a great way to show off not only GVR, but Southern Arizona. If you stand out and look at the courtyard, you're looking at the pool and you're looking at the Santa Rita Mountains above that. It's really a beautiful showpiece. So the landscaping is really top-notch. It looks so nice, even at night. If you haven't seen it at night, please do. We received a successful audit last year as well as this year, so thank you. And we developed an enhanced budget document for the 26 budget, which is the budget season we are in now. Recently, as those of you know, we successfully developed recommendations to improve board-appointed committees and member appointments, which was a bylaws change approved by the members on the recent ballot. So this is a real switch in how members and committees come together and form. 2026 goals and projects. All right, this is what we've got on the horizon. We are completing the lapidary consolidation project at West Center. Recall there are 3 lapidary locations: East Center, Desert Hills, and West Center. The intention of this consolidation will bring the Desert Hills lapidary and the West Center lapidary under one roof. We plan to install cornhole courts at Canoa Ranch and East Center. We're installing fencing at the pickleball center to improve security. We're completing the kiln room expansion at the Desert Hills Ceramic Studio. We're updating the flooring throughout Las Campanas. We're expanding the Las Campanas and Santa Rita Springs fitness centers. And the aquatics facilities at West Center, the pool, is being rehabbed with new plaster and new decking, and the locker room is getting a facelift, much needed facelift. We're converting all of the lighting at ceramics and the clay studios to LED, and this was part of the recommendations per the utility audit that we completed. And we're developing a 5-year accessibility improvement plan, also per the accessibility assessment that was completed. Finally, we are creating, hopefully, a successful GVR-operated cafe at the Del Sol Clubhouse. So we're very excited about this. We plan to open up a real soft opening with free coffee and some pastries, probably within the second week of April, so that's coming up. We're waiting for permitting from the county, and so once we do that, we'll be able to expand a little bit more into espresso drinks, maybe making things like breakfast sandwiches or breakfast burritos. So really looking forward to that as well. that concludes my presentation. But while I have the microphone, I would like to invite David Webster up to come up here. We all pitched in. Actually, we didn't pitch in. We're all. This is a little token of appreciation from all of us at GVR to you, thanking you for your service and your dedication, your friendship. I've really enjoyed working with you on a personal level, David. David started with us in 2018 as the accountant manager, and he was promoted to the CFO in 21. And I have never regretted that decision. I think it was a wonderful decision for CF. Absolutely, absolutely. No, we've struggled with a lot of things, but we always were able to move forward with our finances. We've done very well. I rely on David as a sounding board, and he does the same to me. We've developed a wonderful relationship. David's retiring, as you know. He and his wife, Gail, are staying in the area. I think they're going to do some traveling, which everybody seems to like to do. I haven't quite gotten there yet. Phoenix doesn't count. David, some of you may not know, but he is a trained classical musician. He is a part of at least one band right now. You may see him perform at CPAC or some other venues here in Green Valley. He will be performing up at the Gaslight Theater in Oro Valley, I believe in April the 7th. That's what I meant to say. And I'm planning on going. I think it'll be a lot of fun. But honestly, David, we are really going to miss you. I'm really excited for you, though. This is an amazing chapter, and this is from us to you.
Thank you.
So you have to open it. Yeah, you have to open it. We're all dying to know what it is.
That's nice. Oh my goodness. It's a nice watch.
It's not a Rolex.
It's not a Rolex. Which is perfect. It's perfect because a part of my retirement plan is to become a little more disconnected. You know, and I have one of those smartwatches. I'm retiring it. So this is a very thoughtful and appropriate gift. Thank you all so much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, David. All right, a new chapter for GVR and David and Gail. Very exciting. I think the next piece here is any member comments from the audience. Your big opportunity to come up and share all the great things that you love about GVR. All right. Well, thank you for being here. You can tell we planned for a very large audience. We never know, so we definitely like to put out extra chairs just in case. So with that, I want to remind our incoming board members, you have a special meeting right after this. We're going to ask you to seat here. This should take hopefully not too long. You're electing board officers. You have a few housekeeping items. You're going to adjourn at some point, hopefully in the very near future, and we will invite everyone to come over to room 1, which is behind this curtain, and have a celebration in honor of David Webster. And everyone is invited, so. And with that, let's adjourn this meeting. Thank you.